So can you tell us your name, your artist name, how you came up with the name, where it comes from?
So my name's Chiz Capo. That's my artist name. My real name's Charles, if you wanted to know. But my artist name is Chiz Capo. Um, I came up with the name because like my family always just called me Chiz. Like when I was young, like the older my brothers and their older friends just call me Chiz, like short for Charles. You know, that's just a thing that the people from the hood do. You know, they do that. Sean, Chiz, Charles, Chiz. You know, and Capo came from my boy JP. He just said like, yo, you should just call yourself Capo. Like, just go with that. So for the longest, I just been going with Charles Capo, but you know, then I dropped that and Chiz Capo.
So
So it's not like that interesting, but
there's 1,001 places I want to go to, but I think I'm gonna organically go to because it kind of makes sense, right? Like, so I walk in, I hear your shit, and then he did he did it in one take. Then I walk in, I look at the footage, I'm like, yo, this is a little phenomenal. Then we do the picture, then it's like it works out really smooth. And then I say you're different. But I'm almost sure that with your height, this is not the first time that you've heard that you're different. Like you've probably been told this most of your
Yeah.
life for many reasons. Is that true?
yeah, that's true.
Can you talk to me a little bit about some of the reasons and how do you connect to some of those differences that people talk about?
So like, I don't know. I'm like very unexpected. So people wouldn't expect that I worked like in a public school as like a gym teacher. I was like a coach, you know. So I'm not. I don't know. I'm like I don't do like the same things that other people do. So I was always like tall my whole life. So I've always been different in that aspect. Hooping, you know, nothing crazy, but like I've always stood out, if you would say. So not too much different, but I've always stood out.
So would you say that you have a relationship with difference?
Yes.
That you have a better understanding of what it feels like to be in a space and be different than most
Yes.
because it
100%.
happens to you more frequently.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a
100%.
little bit about that?
I would say like majority of that was in college, you know, just being in like classrooms with a whole bunch of different people, you know. Well, same, you know, people, but me being the different one. So being in a classroom with a bunch of people like that, so I've always stood out.
So then I hear your music, right? And I hear the playback and the tone of it, the beat, the lyrics, everything sounds really different.
Yeah.
And so do you attribute that to your connection to who you are just period? Or do you feel that there's a stylistic reason for how you strategically came up with this sound for you?
Kind of like a mixture of both. Like I put style into it, but where I come from also plays a big part to why I'm different and why I take that approach to my music. You know, I've always been the type to not want to be following the crowd and being the same as everybody else. I always try to be different, always try to stand out. Like, I don't know, that's just how I am. I just always try to do something different, like figure it out another way. That's just what I do.
So that's just your natural thought process of how you maneuver life?
Yeah, like how can I do this differently? How can I do this in my own way? How can I do this like me, like organically, you know?
So part of this project is that we Misso Brown have been looking at ways to feature people that we feel are able to make a connection not only to their artistry but an impact within community.
Yeah.
And I heard you talk about working in a school and
Yeah.
some of that stuff. Is there other things or is there other ways that you and your music connect as it pertains to impact
Like with
to
the youth,
society, with just society as a whole? Like,
I mean, my music is like, I feel like it's very motivating. Like the message is very motivating in my music. It's kind of like pushing you to just like, F what everybody thinks, do what you gotta do, you know what I mean? Kind of like that mindset, like, do you, whatever it is, just do you, stay in your lane, don't worry about the outside noise, just stay in your lane, do you. Like, that's what my message is. So a lot of the youth, whether they're like, I used to play basketball, so a lot of the, like my boys and stuff like that, the younger kids who they play basketball, they get motivated by my music, you feel me? So when they go work out, they got it playing, because it's like motivating. Like, go get out and get it, F what everybody think, you think you're the best, you know?
So one of the things that I noticed is as I started getting hip, right? Because you saw my reaction,
Yeah.
and I just saw you observing my reaction, but you observed it like in a like it was almost as if you were like it wasn't a confidence with you, it was a stillness with you, which I think is different, right? Because one thing is to be confident or arrogant, but you stay still in it, like watching it impact.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's an accurate statement as well?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you see people reacting to your music that way often, and do you purposely stay still
Yeah.
for a reason? And what is that reason?
It's not like a purposely. That's just I don't know. I don't want to go too crazy about it. You feel me? Because it makes me happy though. You feel me? 100%. Like it makes my day whenever somebody knows my lyrics. Whenever somebody's like, "Yo, this is fire. Who's this?" You know, I be happy as shit. But I just be still because it's like, this is cool, but I want more. You know what I mean? Like, I know what my purpose is. I know what I'm trying to do. So the fact that you like it, I like it. I acknowledge it, but that's not it. You know, like that's not the end of the road.
Okay. So can you talk to us, because there seems to be a cultural component that I feel comes out naturally from you as well. So can you talk about how culture plays an impact on you personally, and then how it plays, and I mean like going back to like your genetics, where you come from, what formed you?
Got you. So basically, I'm full 100% Haitian.
Okay.
You know, so that right there is like a huge impact on my culture because my parents are like full Haitian as well. Like I grew up in the household, single Haitian mother, strict on rules, you know, Haitian food, Haitian family, like, you know, everything, Haitian structure. So that was for me. But I also have like a American culture as well. Like obviously I was born in America. I went to American school, so I grew up around a bunch of American dudes. Like I come from the, yeah.
So do you feel that when you start narrating your music and your lyrics and your form, do you feel that the blending of those two cultures comes out in your storytelling a lot?
100%. Like,
can you talk to me about that?
Because, you know, growing up Haitian, you're automatically born in a struggle. I don't care what nobody says, 100%. If you know history, you know that. So, growing up, my mother she was an immigrant. She came here with not much. So, we grew up, you know, we didn't grow up having it. So, I grew up always with a chip on my shoulder, something to prove, you know, because my American dream, my dream is to take care of my mother, take care of my family back home, you know, change that status for us.
So now, do you have a project that you've been working on, or do you have a project that you're developing and drop? Okay.
No vibes.
Okay. Reset.
Yeah, I just dropped Reset like last week.
Can you talk to me about that project?
So basically, I was basically at a point, I was going through a lot, like pandemic hit, everybody's home, you know, sad. You gotta really deal with whatever you're dealing with inside, you know, mentally. So I was, you know, I lost people changed. There's a whole bunch was going on. So I kind of needed to go through a stage where I was just focused on myself, focused on the energy around me. I kind of had to reset everything that I learned when I was young and think about shit on my own. So yeah, reset. It kind of captured an aspect of leaving something in the past, entering something new, with still knowing what you went through in the past, leading you to focus on what you're going to in the future.
That's the perfect segue, because I'm thinking like this series, we're hoping that for wherever people are in this pandemic or wherever we're going in the transition out of it, that hopefully this pieces of music or these connections with people can be something that can help people from where they are in their home virtually, right?
Facts.
So what would you say to someone that is in the beginning process of what you are now on a reset era process? What would you share with them that you think would help them, just as things to consider?
Be grateful for what you actually have now, because it could always be worse. Oh, yeah. Be grateful for what you have now, because it could always be worse. Be grateful for the people you have around you. Tell them you love them every day. You know, be thankful for the food you have. Be thankful for the clothes you wear. I'll tell them that, because it's gonna be okay. It could always be worse.
So when you think about your projects, the ones that you're dropping now, the projects that you've done before, is there one particularly that you feel that you hold closer to you, that you feel you have a relationship with?
Definitely this one right here.
It's Reset?
Yeah. Because it just showed my growth as an artist the most. So you could hear my old music and then listen to this and be like, oh, this is two completely different artists. Like, so.
Is there something particular that you feel like you honed in on, that you tapped into in this project?
I just tapped into like my hunger and my, like, you know, willfulness, and, you know, just that, my competitive spirit, just all that. Just to like prove and like show like I really do this, you know.
So I'm sure we're gonna have in the bottom drops, we'll have like your IG and stuff, but for those that are listening to you, do you want to tell them where they can find your music? I know you said it was on all platforms.
Yeah, my music's on all platforms. Follow me at Chiz_Capo everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, all that. Go to my YouTube, subscribe, share my music, send me a video, DM me. I'm gonna reply, for sure.
Yeah, so on behalf of Misso Brown, we just want to thank you for blessing us
No,
today
I
with all
appreciate
this.
you guys for having
you
me.
guys
For
tore it
real.
up.
Like Tony, he kind of like downplayed it. I didn't know it was gonna be this fire. Like this is dope. You know, I appreciate you guys for having me. I appreciate you guys for listening to my story, all that.
Yeah, no, and this won't be
For
the
sure.
last time you're here. Trust
Oh,
me.
for sure. I'm
We're
gonna
gonna
definitely
bring
come
you
back.
bro.
I
All
definitely
right.
gotta do some type of performance in here. This is fire.
Yeah, well, we'll love to host you, man. Thank you
Alright,
for
let's
everything,
talk.
bro.
Appreciate you.